Welcome back to the Latitude Podcast with 43 North. I'm Justine Pelkowski, the Senior Marketing Manager, and today we are here with Guidesley. We have David Lord and Taylor Lord from Guidesley, and they are part of our new Y9 cohort. So welcome.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Thanks for having us.
We are so glad to have you here in Buffalo. You just moved here from Massachusetts. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and then talk about Guidesley?
Sure.
Yeah. So I'm Taylor Lord. I'm our head of product and one of the co-founders here at Guidesley.
I'm David Lord. I'm the founder of Guidesley, four-time CEO. Started one of the first .coms back in 1996 that I sold to the Walt Disney Company. I went to Intel, was part of the new business group running one of their companies, decided I couldn't stay in corporate America after going the venture capital route. So I went and started another company in California, a sports company that I grew to over $150 million in 4 years. Sold that company, turned around an educational gaming company for 10 years, and then decided I was done with that game and did something I really care about, which is I'm passionate about Guidesley. I'm a fly fisherman my entire life. And this is a company about helping guides run their businesses, get more business. So I'm finally doing exactly what I want, exactly where I want. And 43 North in Buffalo is the next step for the company.
That's awesome. Thank you. That's an incredible journey. You have a ton of experience. So before we get too far into the experience, tell us more about Guidesley. In the simplest terms, what is Guidesley and how do you help people? You mentioned fly fishing. Is it just for people that are into fly fishing? Give us the whole detail.
We build software for guides starting from their websites all the way back. So outdoor recreational guides could be fishing guides, hunting guides, snow sports, ATVs, scuba diving guides. They all know how to do their craft exceptionally well, but they don't know how to build websites. They don't know how to do bookings. They don't know how to manage payments. They don't have CRM. So we build all of that for them so they can just do what they love and we do all the rest.
That is amazing.
And then on the flip side of that, we also help the consumers find these guides and book with them. We want consumers to find their dream trips across the United States and now Canada as we move internationally, not just on our website, but working with these guides, as David said, with our SaaS platform as well, online and within our app.
That's great. So you have online and an app. So if you are somebody looking to take a guided fishing trip, you can go there and book. And if you're somebody who wants to teach people how to fish or take them on fishing excursions, you can become a Guidesley guide. All right. So you have a two-sided marketplace. That's absolutely great. So David, as an experienced founder, what lessons have you learned along the way that have helped you build Guidesley to what it is today?
So first and foremost, choose your investors wisely. Having great investors changes everything about a company. People who care, people who get the mission. So the people we hire are mission bound. They love the outdoors. They want to do something. I tell people all the time when they join our company, for guides, this is about putting meals on the table for their families. So if we have a problem, you don't get to just go home. You're not selling to some VP at a corporation. This is, you got to believe. If you're a Guidesley, you believe in the mission. So the one thing I've learned over time, and I've been in some of the most incredible, the .com was like a revolution.
I can imagine.
So I've been through some passion plays. So the one thing I've learned, man, you got to love what you do because it's hard. You got to pick your investors incredibly wisely. And then you can't waste your time with everything. You got to pick your one thing and do it exceptionally well. So that's what we focus on at Guidesley. I'm sure there are many other lessons that every other entrepreneur has learned, but those are the ones I focus on. Passion, good investors, do the one thing that we do exceptionally well, better every single day.
That's great. And that really sets us up for the rest of the conversation. So speaking of investments, you got a $1 million investment from 43 North. So you were on stage in front of almost 3,000 people at Shea's Performing Arts Center. And you were one of 5 companies that were selected for not only the investment, but a spot in our year-long accelerator program, which you're currently in now. So we would love to know, tell our listeners, how did you find 43 North? How did you hear about us? And what made you apply?
So I go steelhead fishing in the tributaries, the cat or kangaroos, so we do that every year. Last year, we were meeting with one of our friends who lives in Orchard Park, and he told us about 43 North. We were talking about the company. Normally, we're just fishing. We don't talk business, but we were talking about it. And he said, "Oh, you should look into this 43 North. They do an incredible job for Buffalo." So he's just a local business owner running a machine shop. And he was talking about it. So he was aware of it. So that made us look into it. And that was literally it. We were like, wow, this sounds like a great program. We never had a space. New York is one of the leading guide markets in the country. We are not big here. The Great Lakes, the entry to Canada, it made a lot of sense for us. So
that's amazing.
It all came together on that one fishing trip. And wow, did we kill it and catch a lot of steelhead as well.
That's awesome. So I grew up in Buffalo. I grew up near Lake Erie. My family also has a lake house. I'll admit, I don't fish. I've tried it. It's just not my forte. So I don't know a lot about the fishing scene here or even the outdoor scene in Buffalo. So why is that important to Guidesley? Why is that important to you and your hobbies? And tell us a little bit about, what it's like to be fishing in Western New York and the surrounding areas, and then why that's important to growing your business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you want to go with me?
You fish as well too, right, Taylor?
I'm not as great of an angler as David here, but I do a little bit. I'm more on the on some of the other outdoor recs. I love the hiking. I love the whitewater rafting. I'm super excited about those sports that we get into. But as we talk specifically about Buffalo and why that means so much to us as we look towards expansion, as I mentioned, with Canada too, this is so central to just such a great location. So many of the Great Lakes here, and through time, it's just time and time again, a lot of amazing fisheries, a lot of amazing guides. And as we look towards 2024, we want to launch one of our first big guide conventions here, one of the first. So we have some really exciting plans, and Buffalo is going to help us really on that trajectory.
Yeah. That's great.
Well, and if you draw a circle with Buffalo in the middle and just go 1 hour out, 2 hours out, it's like you can take our entire business and it all operates in this area, whether it's snow sports, whether it's fishing, hunting, ATVs, snowmobiling. All of it is here. There are very few areas in the country where you can get it all. So for us, it's almost going to become a test bed.
Yeah.
And it's our latest element, which is gather. So that's a new part of our go-to-market gatherings of guides. When you're spread out, even in Boston where we were, the guides on the Cape, some of them could be 2.5 hours apart. The Cape is a long place, so it's hard to get guides together. Where right here, Lake Erie, the marinas really line up. It's going to be great for our gather component, and that's real world, right? Yeah. Talking to guides, meeting with guides, that's what we love.
And why is that? Sorry, Taylor, I didn't mean to cut you off, but why is it important for guides to get together?
I think guides are so close-knit. They talk. We are so in the weeds with them, and their feedback is so important to us. We have a philosophy at Guidesley is guide first. We are building this product for the guides where they have been left out in a lot of what they need to succeed and thrive. It's kind of this fragmented technology space for them. And what Guidesley is doing is seeing this larger need, this larger concept, especially on the SaaS side, which is where we have thrived. We hear everything that they want, they need. We take that, internalize it, and we're just creating this massive powerhouse for them that's simple, easy to use. And really just at the end of the day, we want them to thrive. So for them and talking to them and continuously getting feedback, we have guide advisory sessions with all of our guides. We have open communication. We have an incredible guide success team solely dedicated to supporting them and getting products, that guide feedback, which is really unique to us. Everything we do is built for the guides at the end of the day. That matters to us. These people matter.
Yes. And again, we've talked about this a little bit, but you're making it easier for them to run their business, to accept payments, to book trips,
right? Email
marketing, things like that.
Calendar integrations, the things that I think a lot of people don't even think about. How do I make it all easier? They are across so many different platforms. They're trying to figure out, how do I reach more people while paying less? They don't think about, how do I get a marketing budget? We want to incorporate better SEO practices for them with these websites. We want to help this kind of business in a box concept.
In a nutshell, we do everything they hate to do.
Well, they're anglers. They're not marketers,
right.
We want to take that
You're
time.
letting them do what they're passionate about.
They get more money.
Yeah.
They pay less money.
Yeah.
And they get more free time.
Mm-hmm.
It's our standard platform. And who says no to that? Let me see. I'm going to make more revenue. That revenue is going to cost me less. So I'm going to make more profit. And you're going to give me back more free time because you take care of all of my customer needs.
Sounds like a win-win-win.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a good job.
So why is the Buffalo community such an important way to, actually, let me rephrase that. Can you talk a little bit about your experience integrating into the Buffalo community? I know you just got here. We're at the top of the year, but you've already had some experience. You were here for 43 North Finals. And then I would love if you could tell our listeners a little bit about your traveling into Buffalo from Boston, and how the Buffalo community has really supported you throughout your journey here.
So I thought one of the funnest stories of the integration is right after we won, the next day, not that same day, walking down, hey, you're Guidesley.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, that was classic.
That was amazing.
And I would say from the beginning of the competition, everyone I've met, how can I be helpful? How can I be helpful? I mean, we're talking at what is that? The brewery right next to the hotel, the second tier.
Yeah.
Southern tier.
Yes.
I met someone at the night before with the British team, and afterwards he connected with me on LinkedIn. Hey, I saw you won, and he was just traveling in. He goes, I talked to a local guide. I told him how great you were, and ultimately that guide reached out to me. So it's amazing how this is an interesting city where people really gather together, right? Like whether it's for the Bills, whether it's for the local market, it seems like a close-knit community. So every single person I've met with, they always lead with, how can I be of help? And they, unlike a lot of places where they say that and then you never hear from them again, everything is followed up. And
it's been so interesting. I agree.
Yeah.
I feel like Buffalo is so unique. It's a place where I don't think I've really ever experienced a community that cares as much about something like investing in the city itself. And these people want to see it thrive. And I think after seeing the finals at Shays and then seeing all of those people out on the streets celebrating the winner, seeing all those people just in the community excited about possible new businesses coming here. I mean, what a time to be in a city like this where they want to see continued growth and just kindness. Like, that's human kindness. And I think we need more of that in the world.
Truly. And it branches even further throughout the city. And when you're traveling in airplanes or airports as well, I know you've experienced that. And we kind of refer to something like that as the 43 North effect. So you come to finals, you meet some people, you get connected in different ways. And part of that, you came to finals and then you were actually connected with investors. We had over 30 judges come. Many of them are venture capitalists in the space. So can you talk a little bit about that experience and who you met and what came of it?
Sure. Marquee Ventures, Eric Hammer was one of the judges. And afterwards, he reached out and said, wow, I really love what Guidesley's up to. Read the whole, I guess you guys give them a big dossier package of all the details. So he had all the data. We got together a couple of times, and they've really become the lead investor in this round. And it really sets us up for two of the big things we're doing in 2024. So that was great. I've met with, I think at this point, three additional judges who wanted to talk about our company. Whether they'll invest or not, I don't know. But they've also gotten several local folks who have invested since the competition.
Wow.
And it goes into our model for 24, which is lean in.
That's
so
incredible.
You call it the 43 North effect. I call it the ecosystem.
Yes.
We're leaning into the ecosystem, and I tell everyone I meet there. So if you're looking for a partner if you meet me, we're going to meet you the same way. That's what we are. I'm not taking a year to move to Buffalo to say, oh, whatever. We're here, we're all in. And we're only a week in. I already see that. We're going to meet with the president of Visit Niagara right after this.
That's amazing.
So we're trying to fit in as closely as we can.
That's incredible. And those connections to investors or other organizations, that's such a big part of our program. Have you, David, and you can answer this too, Taylor, if you've experienced it, but just as an entrepreneur, have you experienced any other accelerator programs or anything that you've done or any other, programs that have connected you to as many people as 43 North, or is this a unique experience for you in a first-time thing?
So, I mean, I've had world-class investors, Kleiner Perkins, Oak, really, really great investors. I would say every one of them brings a certain set of assets. We've been in one accelerator, but it wasn't really an accelerator. So there's nothing like this. I mean, really, from the first time I started reading about it, I said, well, this is interesting. I've never signed up for any other. I've never been in a competition. Never. I would never consider it. My philosophy is if you can't raise money, then you shouldn't be in this business. So I didn't do it for the $1 million. I did it because I thought it was a good opportunity for Guidesley.
That's great.
So that's why we did it. And it's worked out. I mean, we're only a week in, but my guess is when we're at the same point next year, we'll say this was the next big turning point for Guidesley.
I bet. And I really look forward to that conversation again next year. Taylor, for you, what else are you looking forward to experiencing at your time at 43 North here?
Yeah. I would say, so far, even touching a little bit on that last part, everyone has been so incredibly amazing in connections, in helping us reach different opportunities, different types of companies, organizations that we can really tap into here. So I think for us, as we have already been brainstorming within the first week, how can we continue to leverage and tap into that? I see possibilities are just endless. So I think for me, continuing to experience the city first and foremost, so much to offer, but 43 North as a whole, I think David said it best, this kind of ecosystem and just feeding off of it and literally leading into it. I'm looking forward to it.
That's excellent. And you guys have big plans for Guidesley coming up. Can you give us a little teaser of what's next?
Yeah, I think one of them that I mentioned was the Guide Conference we want to really install starting 2024. Mentioning that kind of guide first concept. We want to build this guide conference here in Buffalo. As for the product side, we have a really exciting enterprise level multi-tenant that we are launching this year, Q1. So we're very excited about that.
That's
and
great.
our AI projects that will be coming live that we're working with Amazon and Google. And those will solve more problems for guides. Take what we think were already great tools and make them so simple that you take a picture and we take care of everything else.
That's incredible.
It is going to be, that's probably the most incredible thing I've seen in this space. It's going to change the game for our guides.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited about that.
We look forward to seeing that and sharing all of your news with you. I'm going to pivot just a little bit. It is the top of the year, but by the time this episode airs, it's going to be March. So I just want to touch on Women's History Month. It's something that is really important to me as a woman and, looking up to other people who are making changes in our community. So I would love to ask you, Taylor, as the co-founders of Guidesley and the head of product, what does Women's History Month mean to you? Is this something that you look forward to celebrating in your role, or is it something that you're a little bit more passive about? I would just love your take on that.
Yeah, I would say in recent years, I feel like it's something I've taken a little bit more seriously. In the past, I've been a little passive about it. I think as I've grown into more leadership roles, probably in the last 7 years or so in my various organizations, seeing women in business, and seeing their cents on the dollar and a lot of these different attributes that I feel very strongly about, and how can I continue to help and raise my voice in being in women's conferences. It's something that I've started to, I think, lean into a little bit more, because women speaking up and getting together, I think it's such an important avenue. Like anything, conversation in safe spaces and continuing to bring that to the table. So as I, think forward and think about how do I celebrate it, I think being around like-minded, strong individuals is something I like to have in my circle. So I look to surround myself with other like-minded business women who continue to kind of carry that torch and bring that forward.
That's excellent. And luckily, we actually have a Women in Tech event coming up in April, on April 11th. So we will make sure that you are included and consuming all of that content as well throughout that day. So to wrap up, we would just love to know, where can our listeners find you personally? Are you on LinkedIn, Twitter? They want to connect with you?
Yeah, definitely. I would say I'm more primarily LinkedIn. Okay. Yeah. Or an X now, right? Yes.
Yes.
The company's everywhere. We're on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah. We have the Guidesley website, Guidesley.com. We have the Guidesley app. If you're a guide, there's a Guidesley Pro app, or the Guidesley, you can go become a guide right on the website. We've got a place for everybody. And if you're looking for your next adventure, Guidesley.com is the place to go.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. And we look forward to catching up with you again.
Awesome.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you, Justin.
Thank you.